Hello, everybody. Hey, it's Professor Ellis. I hope everybody's well. This is probably my eighth time trying to record this. Usually it's very, very easy, but the software that I typically use no longer has the functionality for me, so I'm using something new. Tegrity, which is probably some of your other professors have used it or you've seen it in Blackboard. So happy to be able to use some new software, some new technology at this time, different than what I'm used to using with my video lectures for my online classes. So, hey, wanted to, for this first video, just make sure that I answer any of the questions that you've had, some of you've posted in the discussion board, as well as a few questions for your next assignment, which is due tomorrow, opinionated authority. So a couple of you are probably working on that. So I'm going to go ahead and address those questions first, and then we'll jump back in maybe with a second video with the questions for your from the discussion board, since I may have to make these videos kind of short. So let's go ahead and answer some questions for opinionated authority. I want to make sure you understand that assignment. For opinionated authority, you are writing a plan and doing a PowerPoint for an airport. So most airports, all airports, will have a governing board called the Airport Authority. And the city that you've been assigned basically has some situations going on. They're in the process of building a new airport and relocating the airport where they are. This is just a scenario here. I want you to imagine. Or you may find that in some of your cities, this is actually happening, as Nashville is going through a complete renovation, and some other cities are too. But let's just imagine that your city is about to go through a rebuild or a relocation of their airport, and there are several issues that they need to address. What you will do as a PR director, etc., or the firm that is representing the airport, what you will do is prepare a plan for the airport authority to share with them what they need to do with some of the issues that they're dealing with, and how they're going to handle some of the issues that we've covered thus far in the class, such as government issues, some legal issues, ethical crisis, some internal, external communication, etc. You want to research your city, look at their airport, the city that you've been assigned. Maybe look at their airport and see what you can find online about that particular city. Are they going through a rebuild? Have they gone through a rebuild in the past? How busy is their airport? What's the budget for their airport? Things of that nature. Look into their airport and see what is unique features of their airport. And then any images that you can find, any videos you can find, etc., any sources you can find about that. And then the issues that you want to address, you want to respond to those issues or put in your plan. How will you, your team, your agency, etc., respond to the issues at that airport? So the first one, they know that they've said to you that some of the past PR programs they have gained some success, but not the loyal following or created strong awareness about the airport that they really need. What type of PR solution will you implement to address that issue? The next one, the city council has approved a tax increase for all residents because of this rebuild of the airport. Who's going to pay for the airport? The residents are going to pay for it, etc. Are the residents mad? Are they upset? Is the city council upset? What's going on with that? You're going to determine, okay, if there's a tax increase that's been approved by the city council, and our residents are a little concerned about that, about how that's going to impact their tax dollars, then what type of PR solution will you need to implement to address that? Press conference, social media, a series of videos, radio interviews, etc., newspaper articles, events, maybe panel discussions, town hall meetings. What will you do in detail? And you want to explain in detail in full sentences each bullet. How will I go about addressing this issue with the airport under a number of PR concerns that they have? So you just want to go down the list here, and I'm just reading the list for you. You want to go down the list here to say, these are some scenarios that my city or my airport potentially is probably facing. What type of PR solution will I create to deal with that on behalf of the airport? Now, what I want you to beware of not to do is to say, we're just going to ask the city council not to do a tax increase. Well, from a PR perspective, you don't have that kind of power, right? You are the lead communication person either for the airport, or you can choose to maybe be your own agency, and your agency is handling the airport account, etc. Specifically, what kinds of things would you need to come up with as far as solutions or things to communicate more effectively in this particular situation. The very last one, a request for proposal, an RFP, has been sent out to statewide advertising firms, different than PR, to bid on an opportunity to develop the creative branding elements for the airport. So, say billboards or commercials, and an advertising firm is going to create that. Your request for the proposal means that the airport authority has sent a request out to some statewide advertising firms and said, hey, we don't know who we want to work with, but we're going to give you all an opportunity to send us a proposal, and then we're going to look at all the proposals and determine who we want to work with. Since you are already working with the airport, you're going to be hopefully working hand in hand with that advertising firm to determine what goes out, what is being advertised, what should the brand look like, what color scheme, what people will be in the commercials or the billboards, etc. And so what you will do on that particular bullet is explain what type of ways will we work with that advertising firm, etc., with a PR communication based solution. Okay, so you want to look at your city, you want to research your city. They don't necessarily have to be going through a rebuild, but just to know your city and to speak to some of the things that are local to your city are going to be important. All right. So this should be about maybe 3-4 pages, no more than 5. I'd like to see full sentences. You can make bulleted lists if you like for the issues to address, but really do a little bit of research on your city and go into depth about their airport. Give a profile about their airport. Maybe they face some of these issues before. Maybe they've already gone through this process. Maybe they're in the middle of going through this process. But these are very real issues, some that I've experienced with working with the Nashville airport. These are very real issues that a airport across the country in any major city will deal with. Okay, so what you want to come up with is with a series of PR solutions and maybe 3 or 4 things. You can, based on how you want to strategize it, 3 or 4 things that you may do, or maybe one really big thing that's got a lot of different tactics in it, maybe an event series or things of that nature, a series of social media campaign or media relations campaign where you're reaching out to local media, maybe an influencers campaign where you're getting some major influencers or donors around the city to help you build the brand of the airport or rebuild the brand of the perception of the airport. So this is up to you how you go about addressing this. Based on what you've read, based on what we've been studying so far this semester, you then will determine what's the best way to deal with this issue from a communication perspective using a PR solution for the airport. All right, I hope that was helpful. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm going to do a second video answering questions from the discussion board. All right, but I wanted to dedicate this video to giving you a little bit more detail, a little bit more understanding on the plan and the presentation for opinionated authority. All right, thank you. Talk to you soon.